Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here. It is Scrap Squad Sunday, and I usually do those pages on Saturday and have them go live at about the time that I'm recording this. But I wanted to save it until after I got the load prompt because it's also day 4 of Load 224, the Layout a Day challenge over at scraphappy.org. And I'm going to be doing the Scrap Squad lift, but to the load prompt. The load prompt is about the whole theme this month is game night. So this one is based on house rules that you might have, special rules that might exist when you play a certain game. And the technique prompt is to use a house on the layout, so, or have a photo of a house. So the photos that I'm using are from game night back in the day when Katie and Barrett used to come for on every other weekend. And every weekend we'd try, if it was summertime, we'd do a movie in the park. We live across the street and down a couple blocks from a really, really nice park that had, they'd bring in food trucks and like balloon blowers, and it had a kind of a midway setup about, I think it's one Saturday every month, and during nice weather, spring through fall. And we'd, take the kids there, they'd set up, they'd show, some movie. In a lot of cases, it was a movie we had seen many, many times. But, the kids could run around in the grass and just have a great time. People could bring their dogs, and the kids were always there to go get acquainted with everybody else's dogs. But in bad weather or in the cool season, we do game night. We always tried to fit in a game night, and of course the rules had to be different when Ava was playing because you just kind of had to take a casual approach to the game and couldn't be too competitive. Even Barrett was kind of young at one time. We had to adjust things for him, so it was kind of, so I'm thinking that the photos I have, one of them, well, I'll show you in a minute when I move the camera down, but one of them shows everybody but Ava. The other one shows Ava, and she's kind of mixing things up on she liked moving things around on the board. And the game we're playing is Chocolatopoly. It was a gift that the family gave to John because he's such a chocolate fanatic. So this is the page that we're scrap lifting, and it's by Jessica Michaels. And if you don't follow her, follow her. She is amazing. She's just, everything she does is amazing. So this is not my color scheme, this whole neutral kind of stuff going on, perfect for her photos, but I'm gonna get as close to it as I can. I actually filtered my photos to have a more earth tone kind of look, and I'm using a craft background, and I'm gonna do brown and black stamping on craft. So if you know me, that's not my thing, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So let's move the camera down and I'll show you what I'm working with. I'm kind of going to, not sure what I'm going to do for the title. I didn't bring any alphas to the table, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Jessica's original has the photos there and then some round stamps, stitching stamps. I think she has the same stamps that I have. And instead of going with that, I've actually cut a circle out of like the circle from, I think it's Fernwood. I'm pretty sure that's the Fernwood collection. Might be Wildflower and Honey. And she's got some paint swatches going up and down, kind of below that, giving it sort of a vertical line, and everything's lined up in the vertical. She's also got a frame around it, and I don't have a frame. I'm going to pick out a pattern paper, and I'm going to cut the craft down when let's do that now. I'm going to cut the craft down. I was practicing my stuff. I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off over here. I do like the fact that her frame kind of corrals the design, and it lets you see exactly how much her design is vertical. It kind of accentuates that. So I'm going to go here, and that means that my spacers that I have here may not be spaced exactly right. So I'm going to respace. Hopefully those, let's see, is that going to work? I need it up a little higher. I think that'll work. Let me redraw the line, and I'm hoping that, well, not hoping, I will have to put some embellishments here. Let's do that, and then I will draw this one kind of right there. So the outer one there and the inner one here, we'll see how that works. Now I'm going to take, I've got all my stuff that I'm planning to use on the page kind of piled on this circle. I'm going to put it aside, and I'm going to stamp the paint swatches. And I'm using walnut stain on my stamp, and it's going to have a, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually spray a little water on my stamp to get a little more kind of watery, painty look. I'm going to stand up and get that right there, and some of that water reactivity. It's not much, but you can kind of see the effect. I can reinforce that with some stenciling and stamping that I'm going to do. Let's go like so. And again, I'm going to stand up to press really hard on that. Okay, so a little bit different image. I'm actually going to go over the top image with another pressing of the stamp to see if I can get, and it doesn't matter if it's messy looking because that's kind of the point. Okay, now I've got a stencil here. It's a Bramble Fox stencil, and it does splatters and the like. Let me get a brush for this. I'm going to kind of do it this way. And I'm going to use the same walnut stain, and there's a little bit of green on the brush. Okay, so that doesn't add a whole lot to it, so I may try this one down here, just trying to get a little different, kind of a layered look. Okay, that just gives it a little different kind of feeling there. Now I'm going to use go back to stamping, but this time I'm going to use some visible image stamps that give you this firecracker sort of look. I especially like this one, and my stamp block isn't quite big enough, so I need another one. Okay, and I'm going to do this one in black, and I'm going to overlap the messy paint swatch there. And hope that that gets most of those rays on there. It does. And I'm going to do one over on the other side. Here. And the thing I'm most convinced about is that no matter what I've done there, I can always kind of emphasize and de-emphasize with other embellishments. So I'm going to put that aside. I may come back and use one or two of these small ones. I'm going to take that small one and reserve, actually I'm going to put it on a much smaller block because it'll be easier to stamp after I've got some dimensional things on there. Okay, now let's bring the tray of goodies in. I'm gonna sweep all this off. I'm gonna place that like so. I don't have any particular direction that I need these to go. Because it may be easier to embellish, I'm not going to put this on foam. I'm going to take the easy way out and kind of just place it. And the photos I do want on foam. And I've cut the foam. So that's ready to go on the back. I love these photos. James looks like he's really studying the board. And here Ava's just moving the pieces around. So I want I'd like the photos to kind of slightly go outside the circle, and then this kind of gives it that circle-y look, but I do want them to overlap each other. So I'm kind of gonna put that one that way. And I'll do this one this way. That one's kind of sticking off the board more so than this one is. So I'm going to bring it back in a little. And I'm being thrown off as far as getting it parallel because of these lines. None of them is straight up and down. So I've got a large circle-y thing that I thought I'd put right here, and I have this circle bit that says these are the days I want to remember, and I think that's a perfect sentiment for this page. Now I need to get my foam rolls to cut this circle. I actually traced around this foam roll and then cut it out and distress the edges to hide my ugly cutting. So I love distressing, sounds so intentional, and lousy cuttings sounds like you made a mistake. So I'm gonna cover it up. So I've got this in there, but it's not completely glued down because I'm probably going to use some other things. In Jessica's original, she has some chevrons pointing in and on both at the bottom and the top. So I have some chevrons, and I'm going to have them, this is what I meant by easier to, I'm going to have them overlap the circle, but also be outside, so that's easier to do when this is not on foam. So I'm going to do that. I have this pink one that says love. It's chipboard. I'm just gonna, whereas this one overlaps, I'm gonna put this one under. And to reinforce the whole circular theme kind of thing that we have going on here, I don't want to use, this is a flare that has a metal backing, and I don't want to use liquid glue because it'll rust, and I don't want that. So I'm going to put this like so, and I've got one with a bee on it that's kind of facing the same way, although I could maybe use it like that. No, I can't. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this one down here in the same place, because it's, and that's also a metal one. I think I have one that is plastic, but, and these are neutral color flares that I probably wouldn't use on any other layout. I've got the baby squirrel one that goes here, and I love the round elements. I love using the flare because it kind of in this case, it's, especially with the little creatures on top, they kind of look like game pieces. I guess they're evocative, not reminiscent, but evocative. I think that's the right word, of game pieces. So I'm going to do this little strip. These are from an old sports-themed collection by Teresa Collins, and They've been hanging around for a long time. When I just reorganized my Scrap Backwards and How to Kill a Kit with Style kit, I ran across these, and I've actually got them kind of up front and center so that I can, I'm much more likely to use them, and it's working out great. I've got lots of these word strips, including some word fetty from Bramble Fox. Okay, let me go here. I'm going to add some more stuff up to those painty areas, but I want to get the center part and some of the I'm going to put this out that way. I've got this bit, a flag that says this moment, that says Happy Days, and it is it's canvas, and it's just a nice neutral color. I'm using up all my neutral color things on here because, as you know, that's not what I usually reach for first on any page. I'm going to move that up a bit, and I'm going to maybe try to tuck that under there and run it that way. I need something running out this way. Here's another round piece. I'm going to glue this one right there. And I have this that says always remember, and I'm going to put it up here. And now I'm going to run these. I'm going to use the open ones down at the bottom. And the closed ones up at the top. And this isn't going to overlap onto the circle, but these are. You got to get that lined up so that those are harder than you think to line up. Okay, now before I put, let's see, I have this, which is going to overlap, and I'm going to put it like that, barely coming off the outside, and then this one will be I'll do the same there. Those are woodies from Bramble Fox, and I love them. And I am about to run out, so that's something I need to put in my next order, because those are almost essentials, right? So even now I have these that are Bramble Fox paper snips. It says days like these and weekend stories, both of which would be perfect but I kind of like that. I have to remember that I need to put a house. Okay, I knew that I had houses in my Vicki Boutin Christmas supplies. So there's this chipboard. I have these houses, but that's clearly too big for the thing I've got going on here. There's a beige house right here that's fairly small in the chipboard. We have to see where I can put that, and I need to punch out the windows. I think I know where that's gonna go, maybe right there. And it's not gonna look anything like Jessica's. Jessica's is clearly like a mixed media heavy page, and I'm making this more about that center circle. And I think that probably sets off my photos as well as the mixed media sets off Jessica's. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So let's kind of put this right there so that the windows show. And you know, it's covering up the words that are on this black circle, and I don't like that. So it makes me want to take the black circle off. So I'm going to do that because it's too much, too busy. So this will still go there, and there's enough adhesive on there for it to stick. And then this can go here, and I'm going to make it parallel with the photo. So that's going to work. That's probably the adhesive piece, right? Well, I'm going to leave it on there and just use the glue. And I want the windows to have the red showing through, so I've tucked it under this little circle a bit. Okay, now I'm going to add in some sparkly things, but first I want to see if I could maybe use, where's that? Here, this little guy. I'm gonna ink it up and use it on top of the brown splotches to kind of add some quote-unquote sparkle to the splotches. Okay, that actually makes all the difference to me. I don't know if you can tell there, but those looked like ugly splotches until I did that. So I have these two hearts, and I want to use them kind of off the pattern there. They are a pale blue, and there's a finish on one side of them that is from my gluing them up to use on another layout, and it left something that I can't or just didn't clean off, and I'm going to use my tweezers to get the glue glop out of the inside of there. When I use these open hearts. Sometimes I don't notice it until I photograph the page afterwards, but there's a little bit of glue, and it dries clear and matte, but if it's thick enough, it has some dimension, and that dimension doesn't look great. Okay, so now I have some white Bramble Fox stars to kind of mix in up here, and there I did a glop of glue there too. So I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. Kind of, they're not perfectly formed stars. Here's some mirrored stars, and I'm going to put that down a little closer to the circle, and I'll do the same thing here. And now I'm going to do a few sequins, and this is a mix called Sunny Days, and it has some really pretty copper holographic copper. Now you can't get any sparklier and more gorgeous than that. And following Jessica's lead, I'm just going to do a few of these rather than groupings, just bits of sparkle. There's also a yellow, which kind of picks up and repeats the yellow in the bumblebee. And I'm going to do another, like this one is kind of a pale greenish, brownish sort of look. And I'm going to take a small coppery one and another, well, let's do another yellow right here. Okay, now I'll go up to the top, but I'll turn it around, and I'll have to pick the framing pattern paper off camera. I don't, well, yeah, I guess I have my scrap backwards kit here on my desk. Let's limit ourselves maybe to what I can find in my scrap backwards kit. We'll see if I have anything that would work behind this with that Vicki Boutin pattern going on there. And because I love them, I'm going to do another copper one right here. I've got that one has a little pimple on the bottom of it, so maybe this one will go on flatter. And that one too. Okay, it's just the little things that they punch out of the center to make the hole. The thing they punch out is called punchinella, and sometimes the punchinella doesn't get separated from the sequin itself. And I don't know how I know that word. But I like it, so I remembered it. Okay, I think I'm done, except for the pattern paper frame. So let's look for something that is fairly neutral. How about this? I kind of like that because it has some green. It has the distressed, muted sort of look as the as the Vicki Boutin paper, and it looks great with craft. So let me cut it, and I'm gonna, this is a My Mind's Eye from Miss Caroline, and I've used a fair amount of this collection. Recently, I've kind of pulled my Mind's Eye supplies. I had a box that was what I'm going to call mostly vintagey kinds of papers, and these were in that, and there were some basic gray that kind of were in that as well. Okay, let's see if we can get this lined up. And it is, and I have a little bit of smursh here on the page. I'm happy with it though. Let's see. There's the page. It's if I had it to do over again, I might do a lighter background and emphasize the mixed media a little bit more. But I don't hate this, and I will be happy with it in my album, and it fits the load prompt. I will add some journaling about all rules went out the window when Ava joined the game, is what it's going to say. And so that will kind of, the story there being that here we were playing the legitimate game, and here when Ava joined, everything went to heck. So, okay, thank you for watching, and happy Scrap Squad Sunday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.